All right, so we are back. Welcome to another episode of the Unblinded Real Raw Sales Roleplay. Besides Rob Gill battling with technology, Joshua having a sharper hairline than Mr. Callagy himself, Brett and Greg sitting here like, why are we talking about hair and technology? And Allison has like beautiful pictures in the back. And Shannon was going to take over Sean's spot today. We are here with amazing people once again. My name's Fernando, and I'm excited to pass it over to Mr. Callagy. What's present for you today as we look at some amazing human individuals in the eye and like have some fun here together?
What is present for me today is remarkable gratitude, the impact of David Gonzalez, Stingray and Grand Cayman, and like people living on lagoons in paradise. And it's going to be an amazing and remarkable day with the ambassador of results stepping into the world of being role player. With that said, Fernando, you are, for anybody that doesn't know, my dear friend, my partner, my brother, and somebody who has integrated himself into the world of integrity-based human influence, acceleration, and learning truly what influence is about. So Fernando, love you, brother. Vivian, we got rock stars today. What's up?
Oh my God, yes we do. We have Joshua Lee in from Texas.
What's up, everyone?
He is an entrepreneur, business owner, author, and marketer. And he's worked with clients such as MySpace and Google, managing over 100 million in advertising spending and controlling over 35 trillion online impressions. His current venture...
Wait.
With a T? Was that with a T?
With a T? Joshua, is that with a T or a B?
That was with a T, my friend.
Brother, that is
yeah.
drop mic insanity.
Well, this is the stuff, you know, when you get started early on in like early 2002, it was a much easier game back then to be able to control that much traffic.
That's incredible. Please, Vivian, continue with Joshua's incredible resume.
I know, that is so amazing. His current venture is Stamped Out Authority, is about humanizing your professional and company brand on LinkedIn through authentic and inspirational engagement. But what I loved is that you have a book that's called Balance is Bullshit. And you believe that life is not about balancing, it's about integrating.
Ooh,
yep.
I love that. Drop the mic
That's
on
me.
that. Joshua, I believe in conscious imbalance. I'd love to talk more about that. And then I'd love to read. That's amazing. Thank you, brother. For being here.
No, of course, man. Happy to be here. Happy to see everyone. Excited today. Good to see Greg. Greg and I have known each other for a couple of years, so this should be fun, you know, kind of getting in and, you know, just enjoying ourselves today, right?
Absolutely, brother. Thank you. Explain a little bit more about what it is. And actually, we'll do it right now. The first like 20 minutes or so is like us getting to know each other. Like, you know, hey, who's everybody? What's what? Connecting. Like we're at lunch, hanging out. Then we get into the gamification and fun side after that. But it's like, yeah, acknowledgement. Like this is Joshua. Like 35 trillion impressions, author, amazing person of impact. Like, wow, that's who's hanging out. And now let's see who else is hanging out, Vivian.
Well, we also have Greg Wells, his buddy. He's the owner of a marketing agency, which specializes in LinkedIn lead generation for coaches. He's a consultant in software companies. Greg Wells has been dubbed by Fast Company magazine as LinkedIn's #1 copywriter, having worked with over 4,000 clients in the last 9 years.
Unbelievable.
He specializes in generating appointments using LinkedIn lead generation, both manual and LinkedIn paid advertising. And he's also a best-selling author and social media expert. And he believes that if you give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime.
Greg, extraordinary. And everything I believe is about the efficiency of getting to the highest quality with integrity sales meetings. And I'm just hearing that you're the #1 person in the world at doing that on LinkedIn. Did I hear that correctly, Greg?
That's what I love doing, and it's fun being good at it. So I'm honored to be here today. You know, David kind of texted me out of the blue, and you know, that shows you how much rapport you know, somebody has when you get a text from David. It's like I'll make myself available to do this tomorrow.
So that's extraordinary. Thank you for that, Greg. So #1, really looking forward to learning more about how you've developed this brilliance, right? Mastery. Second, I got a problem with David Gonzalez. Is that okay if I share it?
Sure.
David has such depth of relationship. Like, hey, David, like, you know, yeah, if you want to refer some people to the Real Raw, this dude is like consuming space here. Like he owns it. So it's like, he just has such unbelievable people, like you two amazing folk, that like, it's like, David, whoa, like every day cannot be the amazing crowd of David Gonzalez. But the hard part is, how do you say no to the #1 person on LinkedIn, 35 trillion impressions? Like you can't say no. So it's like a quandary, Greg, but we'll have to live with it.
It's a good problem to have.
And Greg, I love that line about fishing. The only issue that is if you taught Sean Callagy how to fish, he would still starve because he only eats mozzarella sticks, pizza, Twizzlers, M&Ms. So you would have to teach him something else. But Vivian, please continue.
I love that. Allison Nolan is one of the judges that we have here today, and she's the founder of Athena International Management, fund governance professional, and independent non-executive director. She's a former partner and global head of funds for a prominent offshore law firm.
Allison, how are you doing in Grand Cayman, my friend?
Oh, hi, Sean. I'm outstanding, thank you. And first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. This is really exciting. I've been following you. I just hear such amazing things about this movement, and I haven't actually participated or anything. I've been absolutely busy since we all got together for the live event in January. So it's absolutely incredible to be able to participate in some way. So thank you, an outstanding job.
No, Allison, thank you. So quick catch up with Allison and on my relationship. So Allison was so kind and flew from Grand Cayman to come to our event with 1,600 people, our Unblinded event in January. Before that, we hung out in Grand Cayman. Allison has an unbelievable house. I love scuba diving, and I scuba dive often on the north wall of Grand Cayman, which you get out to through these beautiful lagoons. And I always think, like, wow, like who lives in these houses? Like they're so beautiful and so incredible. And one of those people was Allison Nolan. Remarkable. So, like, how is everything on Grand Cayman right now?
Everything is great. It really got better on Tuesday because they opened up the beaches back up for us. So we're not allowed to sit or meditate or do anything except for exercise on the beach. And we were divided still into, according to the first letter of our surname, determined as what day we can go to the beach, so that they don't get too busy. Wow. But it's been a beautiful place to be locked down. It's been quite a strict curfew here, but it's been, we've got lovely weather. And I think what I've seen is so much more activity and people going out and exercising. So because you can only exercise in your immediate neighborhood and you're not allowed out the house certain days, these people who've never exercised in their lives are suddenly, they're all out. But more lovely is that I'm seeing whole families go out on walks together. And I think it's, there's been a real plus in terms of community building and families getting closer together as a result of this.
No, extraordinary. And Allison, I was so saddened because of Corona. You had arranged for your beautiful organization to bring me down. And I was going to be speaking at the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman in front of your remarkable ecosystem. And then Corona hit. So I hope we have a rain check on that. And can you just share for a moment, like, what do you do? Like, so people get a sense of what they might be able to do with Allison Nolan.
Okay, what do I do? Well, I have a business which is a very niche business. What we do is we get hired to sit as independent non-executive directors on investment funds, primarily hedge funds, but also some fund of funds. So what that means is that if you've got a New York-based investment manager, they need independent oversight on their actual offshore companies where they're managing the assets, but they need somebody to sit on the board to provide that independent oversight. And we just have usually quarterly board meetings every year. So it's not any responsibility for the day-to-day business of the company, but we have all the service providers report to us and we keep an eye on what's going on and also keep them updated in terms of what's happening in Cayman.
And you get to live on Grand Cayman, hang out in one of those beautiful hotels in the world, the Ritz-Carlton, with 7 restaurants and like Barjack. Like, what's better? Who doesn't want to be Allison Nolan?
It is a wonderful life, and I do believe that you can always create a wonderful life if that's what you want. It is an opportunity to be involved in, I'm a director on multi-billion-dollar funds, hedge funds, but because my oversight is non-executive, I don't have the day-to-day sort of administrative type work. It's very sort of high level.
Yes. So can't wait to get down. Can't wait to follow through and do more. And I'm immensely grateful for you being here, Allison. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me.
Oh, I love your voice. I could listen to you all day. We have Vance Morris, and he's about bringing the magic of Disney to your business.
Oh, Sean's going to love this guy.
A Disney service consultant, a keynote speaker, a customer service speaker, and he conducts intensive behind the scenes and interactive 3-day boot camps for masterminds, member events, businesses, and professional practices, and has presented at Ben Glass, Great Legal Marketing, GKIC, Dustin Burleson and Burleson Seminars, and many others.
Amazing. Vance, welcome, brother. How are you?
Great. Appreciate you having me. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and where are you coming from today, Vance?
The rainy eastern shore of Maryland.
Whoa. And how did you make your way to the Real Raw?
Somebody saw me on the event 2 weeks ago and gave me a call and said, hey, you need to do this. So here I am.
Amazing.
Incredible.
Thank you for being here, Vance, number one. Number two, do you happen to know the Myers-Briggs personality type of Walt Disney? In fact,
I don't. I could tell you mine, but I don't know Walt's.
what's yours?
INTJ.
Okay. I share Walt Disney's personality type, EN.
Ah,
So yeah, I am an enormous fan of him, his creativity, the magic of his world. And I'm blind that we talk about it being more money with integrity in less time, with more magic. So I honor the work you do in that Disney space. And if I could ask this, you know, like what matters most to you in the world, and like, why do you do what you do, Vance?
well, I think all of us realize that customer service has taken a complete nosedive over the last 5 years, and many businesses have become commodities, if not most businesses. You know, a dentist is a dentist is a dentist, attorney is attorney. Oops, sorry, no, present company excluded, of course.
Yeah.
But I show businesses how to Disneyfy themselves, which is creating an experience out of the mundane. So how do you become, you know, the Disney of your niche in your town? And there's so many ways to do it. And it doesn't have to be expensive either. Most of it is really just following the golden rule. But people, when they clock in every day at work, seem to forget that rule.
Oh, brother, thank you. That is beautiful work in the world, much needed in our times and in all times. And thank you, Vance, so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And last, and certainly not least, Vivian.
Brett Thomas. He's the advisor to CEOs, executives, and executive teams on leadership, organizational development, and rapid scaling. A world-class expert on leadership development. He's the creator of one of the most successful and respected leadership development programs in the world called the Integral Leadership Program. And he played a key role in pioneering the now popular field of conscious business and conscious leadership.
How are you, my friend, Brett?
Happy to be here. I feel like with your work that you've done in bringing integrity and empathy and to influence, I feel like a real kindred spirit. I've done similar work, but in the area of leadership.
Oh, that is amazing, brother. And where do you hail from today?
Beautiful Austin, Texas, my favorite city in the world.
That is phenomenal, and I'm really honored that you're here. We have Brett, we have Vance, we have Allison, Joshua, Greg, and I have to tell you this, Brett, we also have the mayor of money, the ambassador of results, formerly known as Big Sugar, and like Bruce Springsteen and Clarence Clemens, I have Rob Gill. Rob Gill is in the house. What's up, brother?
What's up, brother Sean? How are you? Happy Fun Friday to everybody. Looking forward to the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, so love you, brother. And in 10,
Love you more.
maybe like, why do you hang out with me? And like, what's up? Give your 10-second version.
My company, Epic Insurance Services, Epic Wealth Management, went from 8 to 25 to 150 sales meetings a month. We're actually starting a new webinar series, How to 19X Your Sales.
Extraordinary, brother. Love you. Love this man. His all heart. It just popped up. I had a tough day 2 days ago. Rob drove down hour and a half away down to Long Beach Island, New Jersey today. Rob drove down, hung out, and was just like, wanted to see you, make sure you're okay. Love you, brother. You're amazing.
Thank you, brother. Love you too.
Okay. I will be
love Rob
remiss.
too.
Yeah, love you. And
Thank you. I love you too.
Hey, so as I drop in today, just I would be remiss.
And I loved everybody first, just so we're on the same page.
Rob loved everybody first is right. Greg, Joshua, Rob Gill, you want to talk about persistency. Greg, Rob texted me and or hit me on social media 300 times over 7 months before we had our first meeting. That is how persistent and incredible that guy is. I mean, that's I'm like, you know what, actually, what I'm thinking is, Rob, if you had taken the LinkedIn course, you probably could have contacted me like in a week and it would have gone much faster. So, all right, we ready to drop in?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
So Greg, are you ready, sir?
I'm ready.
Cool. Joshua, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so here's what we do. Now we have the fun game of the Unblinded Real Raw. So it's what happens now, judges, these amazing participants, we're gonna take one conversation and we're gonna break it in two. One conversation broken in two. First half is 3 minutes, second half is 3 minutes. In the first round, we are not looking for a yes. We're not looking for Joshua or Greg to talk about their services. They can do whatever they want. It's their 6 minutes. But what's being scored in the first round is how they create emotional rapport with Rob, how they open up Rob's listening, deepen the connection, and also put something at stake for Rob. And it could be about anything. It could be about charity. It could be about a book deal. It could be about their services directly, running some organization with them or mastermind. Whatever Joshua or Greg wants, that's up to them. They set the scenario. So Rob could be Rob. He could be somebody they just met. They could have a scheduled appointment. He could be the president of like Nigeria. Whoever they want him to be, that's who Rob will be, right? First conversation, 3 minutes long. It's opening up listening, creating rapport, and putting something at stake. Then in the second conversation that you come back to, it's going to be conveying unique identity, USP. We'll talk more about what all those things mean to us versus maybe the world, and then forming an agreement. And it's 1 minute, like a break. Rob will go at some point, hey, I got about a minute to go. And then it's not like you're going to see him some other day. The first part, you don't have to schedule a second meeting. It's just a quick break because Rob's got to take a phone call. Then we'll talk to the judges, get their impressions, maybe a couple of scores, and that's what we do here. So Joshua and Greg, do you have any questions about what I've said so far?
Makes sense.
Yeah,
We should
I think we're good.
designate the avatar.
Yes, so if you could, what we're going to do is, please think about it for a second. We do like a virtual coin toss. So let's say, who's further away, Joshua or Greg today, physically from New Jersey?
I'm in
I'm
Florida.
in Austin, Texas.
Austin and
Florida.
in Florida. So, okay, Austin, Texas is further away. I'm going to put 2 fingers under the table. And what do you think it is, a 1 or a 2?
Let's go for 2.
It is a 2. This must be a man watching the Real Rocks. The last like 7 days in a row, I put a 2 down. So
I
congratulations.
did maybe watch some of your shows. I'm like, he almost picks 2.
That is amazing. So,
Human nature, my friend. It's human nature.
it is human nature. I gotta like, it's everybody's getting this too much now, so I gotta really start to vary it. But yes, I saw that. I want to see if people are watching. It's amazing. It's fun. So, and now forgive my loss of, not forgive, but excuse my loss of sight. Who was that I was communicating with that said to pick the 2?
Josh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Josh. Okay, so Josh, it's your choice to go first or second. If you choose to go first in the first round, then Greg can choose in the second round. If you choose second, then Greg chooses in the second round. So which will it be for you, first or second?
I mean, hey, I'm not scared. Let's go first.
Boom, dropping right in. So Josh, what's the avatar? Who is Rob Gill?
I think Rob Gill should be Rob Gill. I mean, we're talking to the man. If he doesn't know himself the best, then who else is going to know?
All right, let's drop in, brother. So Josh, you are ready. Rob, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 3 minutes. And by the way, Josh, is this a scheduled meeting or a cold call?
Most of my calls are scheduled, so I would assume that he reached out to call me and book time on my schedule.
Cool. All right. Awesome.
Hey,
So,
Sean, real quick. Josh,
Yeah.
why did I reach out to you again? Just like,
Well, I mean, the only reason anyone reaches out to me is because of the fact that they want help on LinkedIn.
got it. Okay.
So, Rob, you want to grow your business. You
Got
want to get more appointments through LinkedIn. Rob has a massive YouTube relationship, generates tons of relationships through an ecosystem partner on YouTube. So this is another way to create access. Perfect conversation. So Josh, say hello whenever you want, and we got 3 minutes from there.
Hey, Rob, what's going on, man? It's great to talk with you today. Appreciate you making the time for me. What specifically is the call about?
Well, Josh, thanks for taking the call. I appreciate it. And I do apologize now. This is not my style at all. This isn't some kind of trick that I learned in a book. but I only have 3 minutes for this call because then I got to go pivot, but I could call you back after that other call. It just kind of popped up. If that's okay with you.
You know what? As long as I hold you to the fact that you're going to give me a call back, I'll give you the 3 minutes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I heard a lot of great things about you. Social media is obviously, if understood, which I don't, to the level, consider me kindergarten. And hearing about 1 trillion impressions is insane. I can't even I don't even know what that means, right? In this multiverse. Yeah. So from a LinkedIn standpoint, I a friend of mine introduced me to you, and I do have a relationship with a gentleman on YouTube that has a very big community, but we do videos that drives traffic to my company, which is Epic Insurance Services, Epic Wealth Management. And basically we're a one-stop shop financial planning wellness center for individuals and business owners, where we take all the data, put it on one landing page, and help them make decisions based on logic, math, and science, not emotional timidity. I always say, if I could sit down at a table one-on-one, I'm not sure if there's too many more people out there that are better than me. With that being said, how do we drive traffic to get to those on a daily basis? Because my whole team is a reflection and a percentage of what I do, and we're beginning to scale that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rob, let's start off with everything. You talked about the 35 trillion impressions that I did, but I mean, that's the difference, right? You said you want to drive traffic. That's where I've made my pivot, because there's a difference between traffic and actual engagement. So let me just understand specifically what you're looking for. If you're looking for traffic, I'm going to be honest, I'm not your guy. But if you're looking to engage with your audience, educate and inspire them to really connect and build a relationship with you, I can help you out there. So I just want to make sure we understand.
That's a world-class distinction, and I am definitely looking for the second.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's definitely something I can help you out with. Let's find out a little bit more about you, because I mean, look, I don't believe there's a B2B or B2C. I mean, honestly, brother, those are the distinctions that were designed by marketers like myself years ago to diversify ad spends and get more of your money. I believe everything's H to H, human to human. Every business is run by another human being. So honestly, I can't help you out until I know more about you and who you are, so I can really connect with your audience. So tell me more about you, man. I mean, are you a dad? Are you married? Are you divorced? I mean, you got dogs, I know that.
Yeah, and I apologize, and thank you for asking that question. Beautiful question. I'm a dad of 3, a husband of 16 years, a father of 3 dogs. COVID-19 has created beautiful challenges where my kids do their homework. I'm in the office, the doorbell rings, the dogs go bananas. Very new situation for me. Yet likewise, somehow it's very fulfilling, and it's something that I wasn't aware of in my life. It's I really didn't even know this existed, to be honest with you, because I was just so much, just kind of like in the rotation that you just lose sight of that. And it's been a wonderful yet challenging experience.
That's great, man. I think we all relate to that these days. I mean, it's, I used to tell people, hey, I gotta go take my kids to school now. I go, man, I'm just letting them go upstairs and hopefully they don't bother me for a second, to be able to get on a call like this. It's an amazing thing right now. I've got 2 kids myself, and
awesome.
I've got a wife. So
I think I got I think, brother, I got a minute left, so I want to stay.
No worries, no worries. The quick thing I want to ask about you is, you just shared about you. How comfortable are you being able to allow others to be able to see you? Because I mean, look, every decision, especially if people look at LinkedIn as a business platform, but there's human beings on the other side. So, and this biggest problem is most people talk at people. So I really want to understand how present are you, and how okay are you allowing you to shine through and really be that beacon to be able to draw people into your company and be able to allow them to see you.
Thank you for that. Listen, I grew up blue collar. My dad worked 3 jobs to put me through a Jesuit high school. My parents really worked hard, yet they weren't financially educated at all. They never had any money. There was a lot of scarcity and fear. And I just don't want other people to feel that way. And I'd love to be able to share that message and educate people in the financial services industry, which is designed to be chaotic. And I'd love to be able to share that.
Rob, that's awesome, man. And I mean, if you can be that person and show up each and every day, I know we can have a longer conversation to be able to go, how do we take that? How do we take you? Allow others to understand that you're a real person and really take them into your company and be able to see how you can help them. So, man, I'm excited to be able to feel that kind of conversation, and now take it from you into how we can actually turn that into, real opportunity and true engagement that turns into clients. And, we're not just selling people, but really making advocates first and, allowing that byproduct to become clients.
Boom.
That's all. Listen, can I call you back in 5 minutes?
Yeah, you take that quick call. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joshua, great job.
Awesome.
My favorite moment is the acknowledgement of Rob's barking dog. That was like an amazing, real, raw moment. Perfection. Amazing connective abilities from Joshua, like matching and mirroring. Oof. We'll talk more about it. Joshua, I think that was outstanding. How'd that feel for you?
This is good, man. I mean, that's why I wanted to talk to Rob, right? I mean, because I can only do that. If Rob was trying to pretend someone else, he couldn't actually pull that human element, and everything I do is about really working with that human person. So I had fun, man. It was great. And, I look forward to our next call.
Yeah, fantastic. And Rob, if you had one word to say about the engagement with Joshua, what would the one word be?
Comforting.
Nice. Love it. Comforting to Big Rob Gill. Outstanding. So we're going to drop in judges. If you could lock your scores in for Joshua on a 10-point scale in that first round. For Joshua, that'd be amazing. Like 0 would be Rob's running out and jumping out the window, which is certainly not happening. 5 would be, I think it's a lot better than that. A 10 would be like Rob sees his future in and can't let, Joshua out of the sight, right? So with that said, Greg, are you ready to roll, sir?
Yes, I am. So our avatar is usually pretty specific for, it's usually a business coach. And they're typically, have a 6-figure coaching business that they built through referrals. And they're looking to come on to LinkedIn to grow their business. And they take phone appointments and typically sell like $10,000 or more coaching packages. So just to kind of give you a snapshot of kind of how you would have applied and be taking a call with me because you're interested in us bringing you those phone appointments.
Yeah, great. I think, Rob, why don't we do this? We talk about Rob scaling and growing. It's a whole longer conversation by running a business, eventually training people to do what he's done and growing so rapidly. So Rob, let's pretend this is just a year in the future. And now you're going to grow out the platform of like Rob Gill, financial and insurance coaching, ... right? So let's just be that person. So you are who you are. You want the engagement. Another leverage point is to create relationships online in the coaching space. Greg, does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Okay. So any other questions, Greg?
No.
Cool. All right. You take it away as soon as you say hello.
Cool. Hey, Rob, thanks for taking this call with me. And I know you mentioned you only had 3 minutes and then you're going to have to call me back. So I wanted to kind of cut right to it. What's not perfect in your lead generation right now for your coaching practice?
You said what's not perfect, correct? Is that correct? Thank you for the 3 minutes, by the way, and understand. And by the way, it's not a ploy because we read sales books and someone says create fake confusion so you could control the narrative. That's not why I got to get off. So I always want to throw that out there. For me, it's a matter of, think of it like as a dad that first generation wealth. They want to teach the next generation the struggles, but at the same time, like I never want my kids to grow up the way I grew up. Well, that's how I kind of look at the scaling of my business and the coaching and bringing on new talent. Being able to kind of give all of the I guess the leverage that I was able to put on myself to do what I had to do, put that in a package, customize it, have it wrapped up in a formula or a workbook, but be able to scale it out, as far as that we can take it. I mean, I think that in my industry, people don't educate clients on all the financial products properly. If they did, clients would make better decisions and not have a junk drawer of investments.
Gotcha. So you're kind of taking all of your expertise and in this coaching business, you're going to be putting that onto, are they going to be coaches themselves that would be working with you?
Yeah, because if you look at finance, listen, a financial planner, it's not a complicated thing to put money into a formula, figure out the diversification model and have a conversation. The real challenge is when the unexpected happens, which is all the time. No one planned for COVID-19. No one planned for 2008. No one planned for the internet the bubble bursting in March of 2000. So the question is, does this financial quote unquote planner / coach have the ability to communicate with clients in the rockiest moments, not in the easy moments?
Got it. Okay. So we're kind of taking that knowledge that's in your head and, you know, systematizing that and passing that on to the next person here. Now, why is it important for you to grow this part of your business?
It's important because, you know, I think about the ability to get a message out and for people not to feel scared or scarce about money or be so intimidated not even to get a plan started, because it doesn't matter where you're at. It starts with the action steps first to get it off the ground and truly have a philosophy behind money. And I just think 90% of the people out there just aren't educated. You know, you may have people that are second, third generation that come from good educational backgrounds. Traditionally, I didn't have that. You know, my dad was a police officer. My mom, you know, she was a domestic engineer, right? So there was no formal education in my house. You know, it was just my older brother and then my older sister. And then that's how it kind of took place for me. So I think a lot of people are intimidated by money, but I like to be able to kind of create maps and clarity on that. It's not about being intimidated, it's about being educated.
Mm. Yeah, I love that what you see as important is serving your customers, that it's important to them to have this knowledge about their finances. And that's what makes this important to you as part of your business. And,
Yeah.
and what do you feel is the biggest thing holding you back in terms of your lead generation? Why aren't you already there?
I got about maybe another 45 seconds, but the thing that I don't think anything's holding me back, and I don't mean that. Let me kind of paint this picture properly for you. I think what I'm beginning to seek more and more, and this is with the great work I've done with Sean and the results formula, out of character right now, but true life. I believe that I am continuously seeking the highest level, the highest distinctions of frictionless ecosystem mergers. Mm-hmm. And just to really begin to get more and more in that space on a daily basis. And there is a sprint to get there, and I can feel it every day. I've had the good fortune with Sean to go from 8 to 150. Now I want to make that 150 to 4, but even more frictionless.
Mm. Totally get where you're coming from, and would love to help you get to that point. That's what we're here to continue talking about.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And that's why I was told to call you.
Yeah. So pick up in a minute with that. Excellent job, Greg. Greg, what was present for you?
You know, in his first answer, I wasn't totally clear in what, you know, what he was looking to do. So I needed to kind of ask some more qualification there. You know, after that, I really tried to focus on kind of echoing back, just making sure I was clear on what he was looking to accomplish.
Yeah, great. So very present for me was that Rob, which can become interesting, is somebody, and tell me what you think of this, Greg, that is, story is important to him. So, you know, you'll ask a question, and, you know, I have this experience with Rob. He's got a huge heart, loves deep connection, super emotional. So he just starts going into a story about what, you know, amazing things, which can create an extraordinary access point for all of us to connect with Rob more deeply. So I think that both Josh and Greg, with like probably another question, can make Rob cry. We have the challenge of like make Rob Gill cry, and it happens a lot. So with the depth of emotion. So like super. I love you, Rob. But yeah, that was definitely 3 minutes though. In 3 minutes, it's a tough dynamic to navigate, and I think you did a fantastic job, Greg.
Yeah. Yeah, great job. Yep. I agree.
Yeah. So let's turn it over to the judges for a second. So Allison from the Caymans, maybe go 20, 30 seconds of feedback. Hey, what went well, maybe 20 seconds on a growth opportunity. And then let's go with the score, starting with Josh.
Okay, Josh, absolutely outstanding job. I think that what I felt that you really tried to get to know him in the shortest amount of time possible. And I felt that you listened to him and that you were, I guess, very present to that. I think that in terms of the, I I think that I didn't understand the purpose of some of the questions, because asking questions about wife and family, the dog was good. The dog thing was brilliant. But I felt like, oh yeah, I've got a wife and kids too. It wasn't, you could have had a better choice of, this is a way to access what's important to him. That's what I felt. I felt that that was a little bit of a wasted part of your 3 minutes. And I think that you really, you were really present, and you had me sort of transfixed. What do I do? Do I go on to Greg now, or?
We could give a score for Josh.
Okay, I gave Josh an 8.
Awesome.
Hey, thank you, Allison. I appreciate it.
I think that what it was because I was told to look for emotional report. And by the way, I actually didn't do any homework, so I've never actually seen one of these before. So I thought it would be better to come in completely fresh. So I was paying attention to what Sean said more than I would have in terms of what one was about. So I thought in terms of emotional rapport, you kind of like picked up and all the rest of it, but that was good. So yeah, great job. Like really, really good. I was almost between an 8 and a 9. And then we went on to Greg. For me, great job, by the way. I think that you behaved, it's interesting because you behaved more in the way that I think I would. You cut straight to it. Let's get straight to it. And I felt that what you did was you missed out on a lot of opportunities for that emotional rapport. I felt that Rob gave you a lot of clues. He made a lot of statements about himself. He talked about blue collar background. He gave you lots of opportunities to talk about things where he wants people to not be intimidated. So he used kind of like analogies which related to how he was as a person, how he felt. And I felt that what was missing for me was really, I kind of switched off a bit on the technical stuff. I wanted you to touch my heart. I wanted to know that Rob felt connected to you. I wanted to know that there was some kind of a more of a personal touch. So I think that that was just it for me. I felt that there were some opportunities that you didn't quite take advantage of in terms of being more personal. I think that in terms of the professional side, that was great, but you didn't really connect for me with some of the underlying important things to Rob as a person. So I gave that a 5.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Allison. Vance, what do you got?
Sure, and similar to Allison, but completely opposite, if that makes sense for you. I did do a little research on one of your shows, and for the last hour, I was listening to your conversation with a gentleman named Gallant.
That was an interesting episode, eh?
Yeah, that's the one I chose to listen to. So I hope there's no SmackDown $250,000 challenge today, but
I know not of what you speak, Vance.
Okay. I digress. Sorry about that. Joshua, I think really good job. I like the tone that you use in your voice. I think it really makes people feel comfortable. I think you did a really good job building rapport, and it sounded more like a conversation between two friends than it did, an interrogation or something like that. So I think solid job on that. I really, I'd listen to you for a few more minutes if you were buying time from me. So good solid 8 would be my score for you. Greg, you sound like you know what you're talking about, and I'm sure that you do. You seem like an expert in the field of LinkedIn. But it sounded like you were doing more of a prescribed assessment, like you almost had a checklist of questions that you wanted to get in and get the feedback. And I think there's a time and a place for that. And certainly, sales calls need to be scripted. But I think in this case, it was more to get an emotional connection with Rob. And I think you missed out on that piece of it. Certainly I was listening to you because I'm on LinkedIn as well. And, certainly some good, good assessment questions. As far as the emotional connection piece, I'd have to rate it a 6.
I'm going to, thank you for that. I'm going to give my level 5 listening heard something slightly different from everybody for Greg. I think that Greg was a little bit challenged by the role. And I think there was perhaps a slight disconnect the way Rob heard the role, where he was like building a coaching business. So I think Greg may have been working to stay in role a bit and was like, wait, like this is a coaching business, right? So I think there was some of that, you know, going on for Greg. So I want to just like honor that. I was in my listening. It was in my vibe. So I think, you know, in honor of Greg, I think he's going to like absolutely crush it as he delivers like what he could do for Rob. And I'll reset that stage in round 2 so you can drop in on it. But my listening was there for it. So awesome feedback. I'm not changing anything judges are saying, but that was present for me. So I just want to honor Greg with that. Brett, what do you have, sir?
All right. Well, so starting with Joshua. So Joshua, I felt that you seemed natural and warm and authentic. And so that felt great. And I felt that you listened, you created a rapport, and you put something at stake, check, which is what Sean said at the beginning. And I thought you did all 3. So I thought it was great. Really strong, like really strong. In terms of maybe opportunities for improvement, maybe slow down a little, maybe actually, I know you were rushed, of course, so there's 3 minutes, so you were rushed the whole time. I've got 45 seconds. I get it. The challenge and the opportunity would be look for opportunities to slow down a little, maybe relax, and kind of us people down here in Austin and the weirdos on the West Coast talk about dropping in, and Sean from the East Coast talks about dropping in. It's like kind of dropping in this kind of intimate moment. And so maybe there's a little bit more space between the words. I can give you one example. There was a couple times where he finished and you jumped right in, and again, you were rushed, but the opportunity might be to actually pause, like you're really soaking in what he's saying, and then respond might create a deeper feeling for Rob of feeling heard. And since so much of this is going for the emotional connection, not just the information, there's some little tweaks there. And
Brett,
so I thought it was really strong. I would give Josh, based upon what he was asked to do, an 8.5.
Brett, that was Allison, thank you. Vance, thank you. Brett, outstanding feedback. And just the way Brett was communicating, like I felt you. And I felt that, the pausing, the dropping in, the language, the energy of it. There was beautiful, emotional, energetic, connective transference. So that was really, I felt that, Brett. Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks for the feedback. Yeah. So Greg, yeah, and I also noticed there was a little bit of maybe slight lack of clarity or confusion at the beginning about the coaching thing. So that may have, maybe you had a little stutter step right out of the gate. So I think, we should take that into account. I thought one of the things that I appreciated the most was such good reflection, mirroring, paraphrasing, and restatement of what was heard. It was almost like you had a phonographic memory and you were hearing what he was saying and then you were paraphrasing it back. And I mean, you aced that. And so in terms of clarity and like, he knows you understand what he's saying, terrific. Like Josh, you listened, you created a rapport, and you put something at stake, which was, as I understood, the assignment. So check, check, check. The opportunity, I noticed some of the things that were said before. I think there's an opportunity to try to, and this is hard for me, so I struggle with this too, maybe try to come a little less from the head and a little more from the heart. And I've had lots of coaching and I'm only marginal at it, but it's a great thing to do. And it takes a while to do it. But what it could do is it can maybe establish a little bit more of an emotional connection and emotional rapport. And if this was just informational sales, you would have aced this. But I know Sean is emphasizing this emotional connection in 3 minutes. So maybe ask a little bit more probing questions about some of the things, for example, that Rob mentioned that might tie deeply into two things to look for, things that he cares deeply about and he has emotion about. Like, you want to look for those things and listen for those things and ask about them. And the other is he gave you a huge clue about his own self-concept and sense of identity and what he's proud of. And so if you can not only emotion, but also connect with what he has this sense of identity and he wants to talk about it, that's a kind of a shortcut to get to that connection, much more than all the technical things that you shared that I thought you were very proficient in. But I think those would go better in the second conversation. And so overall, I'll give you a 7.5.
Awesome. Thank you for that feedback. Craig, Joshua, fantastic job. And just to echo some of those beautiful points that people are raising and making, this is global. This is not to Greg and Joshua. This is to all. I say this each show. Oprah Winfrey said she held the microphone for 30,000 people. She said, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me. When that occurs, and with integrity, of course, not as a sales tactic, we talk about integrity-based human influence. The first element is loving people unconditionally with boundaries, like loving people unconditionally with boundaries. So when we drop in that way, we become, like we are facing default no in the sales process. So as soon as people feel sales engaged, two fears come up: rejection and failure. Like that's it, rejection, failure. And they're afraid of being rejected by people if they say yes. They're afraid of upsetting the person in the sales process and getting rejection. They're afraid of failing, making an incorrect decision, having it not work out, right? So what occurs in the face of default no is through the building of emotional rapport is when we become congruently unique. Congruently unique. I felt congruent uniqueness from Brett. Like I'm like, there's something like here, like congruent uniqueness. When we have congruent uniqueness, it raises curiosity. When we raise curiosity with open listening. Listening is closed, like want, like Charlie Brown's teacher, when we face default no. Congruent uniqueness opens curiosity, opens listening. Brett, does that make sense? I know you're just saying it. Is that a fair encapsulation of what you just said?
Absolutely, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Super cool. So we could illustrate that. For the sake of time, I won't. Maybe we'll touch on it a little bit later. Let's see how we're doing on time. Let's just drop in for round two right now. So Greg, it is round two. We're going to set the stage a little bit tighter for you, like with Rob. Would you like to go first or second this round?
I'll go first.
Cool. Okay. So Rob, here's the deal. So Greg, we're gonna revamp round one just a little bit. So Greg is coaching you now. It's a year from now on your sales, your financial coaching business. So we've set up a dynamic for you and Epic where like you're coaching other financial services providers on how you 19x think. Like
so Sean, I'm coaching other agents and advisors, correct?
Yes, for money.
Okay.
Like in a business.
So they're paying me. They're not necessarily working at Epic, but they're paying for my skill set.
That is correct. I thought we had. Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
Two,
Understood.
it becomes an awesome way for you to also potentially have franchisees.
Understood.
Know you, you're helping them. They're like, dude, I want to just like work with you. I don't want to pay you for your coaching. Like now I want to become a part, maybe buy a franchise, do a strategic ecosystem merger with Epic. So that's so what you're doing right now from Greg. So you've worked all this out in the first round. You've been building that business. It's going slower than you want. And Greg's like, I can help. And you're like, your vision and mission is to honor change. All the financial missions you have are still there. You're just leveraging it, coaching other people for money and expanding this mission for Rob Gill. And the why that Greg has uncovered is because you want to build that legacy because you grew up poor. You've helped your family, right? And like you saw the contrast of how you were raised. You don't want others to go through it, and you want to expand this sucker. And like you're excited because you feel deeply connected to Greg. You're excited to hear what he can do to help you accelerate that by the brilliant work that he does. Greg, is that a fair setup?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, awesome. So ready? Are you ready, Rob?
I am. Yep.
Okay. So Greg, take it away, sir.
All right. So Rob, picking back up on where we left off, you were telling me about growing your coaching practice. Who would you say is your dream client, the person that you would love to coach? How would you describe them?
Great question. Thank you. So I think if you look in the space of financial planning and licenses and Series 7 and Series, 65s and life, I think there's like 75,000. That was as of 2 years ago. There's 75,000 people that have those licenses. And I believe a good 80% of them probably, not because they're bad, but are probably below average producers just because they haven't been given the right tools to succeed. I look at the insurance industry specifically. They still train, they have a sales training model for their agents, which by the way has a 95% fail rate of stuff that was kind of working in the 1940s and 50s, right? They haven't been able to make the changes. So I would like to target somebody mid-tier, right? Because, you know, if we could do that, I think we could scale faster, at least in my mind. And part of the coaching, I think a natural byproduct, because the art of living is given Tony Robbins style, and this is what really attracted me to Sean. I believe that no secrets, straight, you know, given, you know, fake confusion, just being real, being authentic, don't hide anything. If I could train people to really kind of understand the proper kind of integrity-based selling, but could do it globally, I believe that could also lead to a byproduct to have people come work with us as well, but without us asking.
Yeah, so it's that mid-tier, below average performing financial advisor, not the ones just starting out, not the ones that are killing it. Those are the people that are your dream clients and you'd love to work with. And what would they say is the #1 problem you're solving for them when they come to you to coach them?
Initially, before they're educated, they would just say that they want more leads.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Because that's what they're conditioned to believe.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And so if I can get you on the phone with these mid-tier financial advisors that believe they want more leads, those would be conversations that you'd love to be having, right?
Well, I mean, yes, you know, if they want to be coached, right? If they're looking to be coached. And I think once we take that step, would the process of really sharing them the truth that I know them to be on how they could really not just want new leads as if they're going to show up at the front door, but how to go get them and how to get them in a way where it doesn't create friction and it's frictionless, and their performance and their lead sales meetings would grow, at least based on what I did through what I learned from 8 to 25 to 150.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So how we've helped lots of people in finances, and how we do this is using my copywriting system on LinkedIn. It's called BPBS, Big Problem, Big Solution. And what gets people's attention is us messaging them, asking them, do you have this problem? So for example, we're going to reach out to financial advisors on LinkedIn on your behalf, and we're going to ask them, you know, are you performing at below average because you have a lack of leads? And if they raise their hand and say they have that problem, that's what qualifies the lead that we'll be getting you on the phone with for you to offer your coaching services to. And that's what makes these leads qualified and different and better than most leads you get from LinkedIn, where it's just kind of an open-ended conversation. You know, the people I'm bringing to you are the avatar you want, and they're coming to you with a specific problem. Does that make sense?
It does. I like the way that sounds. I do. And then maybe there would be more questions beyond that, I would assume, but as an opener, that makes total sense.
Yeah. And what's typically the biggest objection that you run into in these people? Is it that they can't afford your services yet, or what's kind of the biggest objection?
I haven't, so I guess they can't afford my services. You know what I mean? This is brand new, the coaching side, but I heard you were the guy to talk to.
Yeah, and so that's a big part of the people we're going to be bringing with you. They're going to have staff. We're going to be filtering this out, looking for people that already have staff under them. And that's one of our ways that we can tell their revenue size and make sure you're not wasting your time talking to people that can't afford coaching. So basically, I'm going to be bringing you people that are your exact avatar. They have the problem that you specialize in solving, and they won't have this objection that they can't afford it. Would you like to talk about how we could work together, us bringing you these leads?
Yeah, I would love to explore that. That sounds really cool.
Fantastic. Cool.
Very nice job, Greg.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. How did that fit for you, Greg?
Yeah, that's again, my style is a very diagnostic style. So I felt like I accomplished what I was looking to get to. You know, the biggest thing we run into with LinkedIn is, you know, yes, you're going to bring me leads, but are these going to be qualified leads? So that's one of the major selling points that I try to make in all of our presentations, because a lot of people don't want to waste time having conversations, just, open-ended conversations with people. So that's what I was looking to accomplish, and I felt like I did that. And I'm really appreciating all the feedback you're getting, because the building rapport stuff, the mirroring, those are things I once had a girlfriend come to an event with me and tell me, Greg, like, everybody seems to like you. You know why? Because you're completely oblivious to all their, all their manipulating, all their, trying to do this stuff back and forth. You just kind of are you, and you cut through the chase, and that works for you. And people either like it or they don't. But I recognize, as a salesperson, I need to kind of evolve more into the things you're teaching. And that's a lot of value that I'm getting out of being here today.
Yeah, Greg, can I thank you for that vulnerability and openness? And if I could share this, I don't think you need anything. I mean, I think you're tremendously successful. I know you didn't mean like need literally. I think an opportunity is, like, here's who I see you as, right? I see you as somebody, just for fun, let's just go with this one question. What business do you think you're in? Like, what is your business? Greg's business is?
Providing a consistent lead flow for coaches.
Yeah. So here's the business I think you're in. I think you're in the business of changing lives. In a capitalistic structure, one of the 3 greatest stress points is how people in small business, especially the business you're helping out, spend money, time, and energy sitting down with people to have a qualified conversation to share their magic with. So you change lives and are the best in the world at it, changing lives to create the efficiency of more money and less time with more magic by having far less money, time, and energy spent in generating sit downs with qualified people. That equals like time with children, like beach house, like scaling of business. So like, and this isn't just words, like I believe this from my heart. I am so impressed by you and what you do. And I do this every day. You can watch all the things. Like I am so impressed by what you do because it's magic. It's critical. It's like indispensable. It's fundamental for people to get everything they want about a capitalistic structure. So just that aspirational dynamic as you connect with people and share who and what you are, I think I have no idea like what's happening in your business. I'm sure you're succeeding wildly. I think you stepping into and experiencing that you're really doing that for people. Mm-hmm. And like when I heard about you and what you did, I literally, that's like, wow, I was like so excited to talk because that just like resonates so deeply how effective you've been on LinkedIn. So I just want to share that with you.
Yeah, that's great. Share. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think, and you like it's almost like you're showing up in some way, which is totally like working in a ton of different ways, but it's like, yeah, just kind of like this, dude, and I just like save your like business life and change everything for you. Like, yeah, like that's what I do for like, coffee, like chilling. Like it's beautiful and super humble, but it almost I had the privilege of the last like 6 events for Tony Robbins world of speaking on stage there. The first time I did it, people were like, oh, hey, great job. And like really, really good things happened. And somebody came up to me and said, hey, how'd you think you did? And somebody that I had done coaching work with. And I said, yeah, I think things went well. He said, how do you really think you did? I said, I was hiding. He said, why'd you hide? I said, because I didn't know if it was my place. He said, why do you think it was like your place? Because I don't know. Like I didn't want to take up too much room. I just wanted to like be there and I didn't know if it was my place. And he said, I offer you this gift. He said, I offer you the gift to not take up more space than you ever should, to never take up less space though than you should. Because when you're doing that, you're out of integrity with people because they don't know who you are. They don't know how deeply to listen to you. And they don't realize if they don't, how much they can miss everything they want. So just a thought, you do that with what you will. So thank you.
Love it. Thank you.
Yeah. So Joshua, how are you?
Me on mute. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah. So I know we're a little behind. We'll try to get tight and get wrapped. Awesome. Thank you, both for being here and your patience. So Joshua, you ready for round 2?
Let's do it.
All right. Take us in.
Rob, what's up, brother? Man, it's great to jump back on the call with you again.
What's up, Josh? How you doing, man?
Hey, you know, it's a beautiful day here in Austin. Man, you know what? I just want to take 2 seconds.
Hey,
out, man.
quick question.
Yeah,
quick question. Does everyone in Austin cut their hair like that?
if everyone cut their hair in Austin like this, then I wouldn't be special anymore, right?
Go ahead.
No, man, it's good. You know, I'll be honest, man. I was excited to jump on the phone call. It was really awesome for you to kind of shine through and tell me about what your why was. I mean, it's because that's why we're all here, and I think that's one of the biggest things that I think most people miss out on is starting with their why, and that's your family. I mean, I've got the same thing. I reset my life to really make sure that why stood through, and being able to kind of help people where you've come from before. So appreciate you, man. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, you know, we talked about you, your family, all the kind of stuff like that, but I really want to make sure that I really value your time. What is the biggest thing that what kind of results are you looking for? I mean, you're talking about LinkedIn. I get that all the time, but what are you really looking for specifically to be able to achieve on that platform? And maybe what haven't you seen already, or what don't you like?
You know, for me, I think I'm looking for a systematized, consistent, and when you gave me 2 choices, number 2 landed really well before. A systematized, consistent flow that is predictable in our space, so then I could scale that out and then double down in your space.
Nice. Now, that makes sense. I mean, that's what a lot of people are looking for. We get the people all the time, you know, they want to be able to scale and be able to grow. And that's why it took so much time in the first place to kind of really get to know you, because that's what's really important. A lot of what we do is we take on that persona of you, right? We're coming in and I've got to get to know you first. I mean, I've been blessed to be able to work with some of the guys that I read their books on how to start my company, like Dan Sullivan and Joe Polish and different guys like John Maxwell, to be able to take on their voice. So being able to really understand you and what you're looking to be able to do to be able to bring those clients, because what we're going to do is I'm going to help you be human online again. I mean, that's so important right now, more than ever. You know, we're COVID, right? I mean, everyone's online, and I don't know if you're like me, man, but I hate cold calls and I hate cold emails. So I try never to do that. And I get a ton of spam on LinkedIn, and I never want to be that guy. Does that resonate with what you're?
Yeah, it does. There was a time in my life when I actually cold called on Wall Street, and I opened up 3,000 accounts from 1998 to 2002, 2003. And that taught me I've known, learned, and understood, and then preempt every no and default no as a result of that. Right. So I never want to go back to that again. What I do love is the idea of what I love about the Callagy results formula, right? Integrity-based human influence. And if I could just keep it real simple, is the major deep dive into rapport build, right? And if we can mimic that on this, then we're good.
I love that, Rob. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where you and I align a lot. I'm in the same scenario, right? I want to make sure I build that emotional connection first. I mean, people make decisions based on loving or hating something, not because they're indifferent. We see so many marketers talk at people. And one of the biggest things I've noticed, even pre-COVID, was there wasn't enough appreciation in this world for the small things. And that's kind of where we start on our process. When we're going with you, as I told you, man, I hate cold call, cold email. So it's all about engagement, appreciating people for the little things they do online. I mean, when's the last time that someone reached out to you and was like, hey, Rob, I saw you liked my Facebook post. I just want to reach out and say thank you.
Josh, great point. I do want to say something. One thing I don't like is the canned, like when you become friends with someone on LinkedIn, that somebody sends you a message that they clearly, it's automated. I don't want that.
No, and that's
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing, man. It's we have all humans on our side, because I mean, we've got to be able to own you. I mean, this is why I've been allowed to be one of the few people that I've ever been able to allow to be other people online that they would never allow anyone else, is because we're being able to do that. We're being able to first connect, right? It's the golden rules. It's the things that I do. It's the same things that my mom taught me and your mom taught you. It's, look, we start with appreciation. Appreciate people for looking at your profile, reaching out to connect. Hey, Rob, I saw you stop by to check out my profile. Man, I just want to take 2 seconds to say thank you. And maybe find out what pushed you to look me up, right? That's opportunity. We explore that for you. From there, or if they engage on your post, right? From there, we're able to kind of go in and then be able to go in and appreciate, and then we get compliment. So, you know, we kind of go in and, you know, give them a endorsement on LinkedIn. Once they respond there, we can ask a qualifying question. We kind of go through these paths where we have like 7 or 8 touch points before we ever talk about ourselves. Because, dude, I don't know if you're like me, but every time I connect with someone on LinkedIn, it's just, they're just throwing, hey, you want to buy my product? I mean, they pitch you 2 seconds later. Hey, Rob, I see you're wearing a red shirt. Me too. Let's connect. Dude, I don't want that. And that's why, you know, we work with amazing clients like you to be able to kind of do that on one side, which is really engaging with people that engage with us. And then the other points, the social listening piece. I mean, if I asked you, why does everyone post online? What would you say? I don't care who you are. First and foremost, above all else.
First and foremost, what? I missed that.
Why do I, well, I'll just, I know we only have limited time, but the reason why, like I asked you why everyone posts online.
I think because people want to tell their story, because people want to be heard, right? People want to be, you know, people want to get a message out there, or their boss told them to do it if it's in a business context.
Yeah. 100%. And those are different ways to be able to kind of look at, there's so many people trying to tell stories. I kind of look at it as they want the hit of dopamine every time they get that engagement, right? So, you know, that's even though no matter what you're doing, you want the hit of dopamine. We all want it, even though we don't tell ourselves that. So we have to become those dopamine dealers, and we become that on your part. We identify your ideal avatar, and then we kind of reach out and we start engaging on their post first, and then draw them into a conversation with you. Did I go over, Sean?
No, 1 minute. You got another minute, Josh.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm definitely into the conversation, just so you know.
Yeah, man, no worries. So, you know, that's the whole piece, right? I mean, I want to engage on, I want to give them what they want first, right? I want to engage on their content, reach out, say, hey, Rob, I saw your recent post, man. I just want to take 2 seconds out and say, thank you for posting great content. We connect with them, right? Then we kind of go through that same engagement engine where we're endorsing them, we're giving them a compliment, they're responding back, we're asking a question. Once they answer that qualifying question, yeah, go ahead, man.
Can I ask you a question? So, like, if I'm working with you, you do all that for me. Is that what you're saying?
100%, man. That's my team's taking on you because
can you paint
your
that
time
picture?
is valuable.
Can you paint that picture for me, like 30 seconds?
That's 30 seconds. Yeah.
30 seconds. We're logging in, going in as you. You're telling us your ideal avatar. We're engaging with your audience. We're actually going in and qualifying. We're doing multiple touch points.
How many hours a day? How many hours a day are you guys doing that?
My guys, for our clients, we're doing it 3 to 4 hours a day, going through for each one of our clients to be able to go through. We're reaching out to 100 people a day to engage with them on their content. We're engaging the people that engage on your posts and drawing them into conversation, asking these qualifying questions so they can tell us where we're at. And then we can provide value based on how they answer the question.
Understood.
Even if they're not a client, we want to create advocates, right? So let's say they tell us they're not the right ideal. We're going to, we're going to give them value no matter what, man. So that's why we work with, that's why I love working with people like yourself that are family men, because it's all about adding value and smiling the entire time when we work and do what we do. Because if you can't smile and be happy and proud of what you do with your kid in front of your kids, you shouldn't be doing the first
And when you're
place.
doing this, you're leading to appointments.
Rob.
Yep.
We're time. So Josh, 10 seconds to wrap up.
Yeah, no worries. Rob, I mean, this is what we're is, man. I want to make sure I provide value, provide the leads that you're looking for, but not just leads, but engage connections that are going to bring value so you educate these people and draw them in, not sell them. So you don't have to keep on selling them once they become clients, man. So hopefully that's something, you know, we can have a longer discussion about, because it really is going to be an amazing experience.
Yeah, Josh,
absolutely.
Great job. I think you did so well that Rob was like literally in a sales situation, is about to call you and be like, dude, what can we do? So like, it's like, all right, we're the real, like this, like the real Raw became like real Sal. So that was a fantastic job, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. So Brett, dropping in, what'd you see? What do you got?
All right. So giving feedback to both of them.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's start with Greg, who went first. All right. So great diagnostic, as the word that you used. Precision and efficiency. You're like a surgeon. That's terrific. You establish the need and the desire, and you convincingly explain how you can help him get that exact outcome, and you formed an agreement. So it was kind of a workshop on precision and efficiency. The big focus I noticed was on the outcome. And again, totally fine. And again, you're one of the best in the world at what you do. So it was really excellent. The opportunity is to connect more personally, emotionally. I didn't really see much of that. Again, you were focused on the outcome, you established the target, you hit the target, you know, surgical efficiency. But I would like to see more of kind of, again, humanizing it a bit. So that's maybe that next level if you want to go there. Overall, a great job, really strong performance, 8.
Awesome. And for Josh?
So Josh, what I really appreciated is that you really paid attention to the personal and the emotional. There was even one point where you mentioned appreciating the small things. We need to appreciate the small things in the world. And that tied back to one of the first things Rob said, that he was appreciating his time with his family that he had been overlooking. And it was excellent. And so you really connected the personal, and you unpacked that. I felt like there was a lot more emotional kind of trust and rapport than in contrasting to Greg's approach, which is very effective and efficient and got the job done, but maybe in a different way. So I thought that was really strong. I was a little concerned toward the end because I wasn't hearing you get the agreement, you know, for the next meeting. And I'm like, man, he's not going to miss this, is he? So I felt like you kind of got it. It wasn't as explicit as I would have liked to have seen.
Fair enough.
But I think there was an implied, we're going to continue the conversation. But that would be the improvement, would be to really, really nail that down. Like, so you can see the value. I thought Greg's close was actually better than yours, Josh. You can see the value, and so, you know, are you looking forward to talking? And the bar that Sean sets is really high. He said on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 is they can't wait to talk to you again, and their life is like incomplete until they can get you on the phone again. And so, you know, it's like, I think that does require that. So overall, really strong performance, 9.
Awesome. Thank you, Brett. And Brett, by the way, thank you so much for today. And if somebody said, hey, like, what was the judging thing like? And should I go on that thing? What would you say?
Well, for me, it's fine. I'm comfortable giving feedback and listening. And so I think it's great. My area is leadership, not sales, but there's a lot of similarities clearly. But I would say that you, Sean, create a very safe space. The participants show so much courage and humility and openness and eagerness to feedback that, yeah, I think it's terrific. It's a beautiful group of people learning and growing together in like this spirit of connection. So I would say it's really lovely, and I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Oh, right. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Vance, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. Thank you. This has been great.
Cool. And so what do you got?
For Greg, I think the second round actually called for more of a prescriptive approach. And I think that Greg did a great job with that. I mean, even to the point of where he got Rob to say, I like the way that sounds. And, you know, as soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, Greg, pounce on that, you know, go run with that. And then I was very happy that he got, you know, within the time frame, got his call to action in. You know, all right, what are we doing next? You know, would you like? And I think that's a great segue into your call to action. Honestly, I think a lot better. One technical tidbit for you is that it looks like your camera is not where you're looking. And so if you're doing a lot of these consultations via Zoom these days, being able to look directly into the camera when you're having that conversation, I think is going to help you quite a bit. You're probably focusing on your screen, which is where, you know, we are right now. So to you, it looks like you got eye-to-eye contact. To us, it looks like you're looking somewhere else. But I think overall, very solid. Definitely an 8. Joshua, I think great job with validating everything that Rob was saying. So great job mirroring. Really liked the comment. I think this is where you hooked Rob, was with your questions about why do people post online, and that dopamine hit. I think that is I think that was the turning point where Rob really got into the conversation with you. So great job there. The critical feedback, I think, was, Sean gave you a few extra seconds or an extra minute. You took the minute, and then he gave you another 30 seconds. And I think he was hoping that you would have gotten to some sort of question to continue the conversation. I think he gave you even another 15 seconds. So get that close in there a little bit quicker. I mean, I know this is.
I didn't realize I was over time. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, but I think your approach to engaging Rob was fantastic. Good job. Solid 8.
Awesome. And again, how is this experience as on the Real Raw for you, Vance?
I think it's fantastic watching, two very different people essentially selling similar services approach it very differently. I think being able to be a part of that's fantastic. Great job.
Well, awesome. Thank you, brother. Allison, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. This is such a great opportunity because I've been so focused on LinkedIn, and at one point I'm in the process of getting people to help me out with the LinkedIn. So I've actually learned an awful lot, is the first thing I'd like to say. So Greg, I felt that you really impressed me with this. I felt as if I'm a business owner and I'd had that meeting with you, what I liked was you were very logical, you were very clear, and you listened. And I liked the whole big problem, big solution. I like that. And I thought that it was about knowing your avatar. So you both talked about that, but you talked about knowing your avatar. And then what I loved is I can't be bothered wooing all these people when they're not going to be able to afford me. They're not going to be let's be specific. So what I really, really liked was, we're going to make sure we've got tools. We're going to make sure that these are qualified leads. I thought that it was really, really impressive. Frankly, you had me sold. So I think that one thing, I was asked I felt that I was looking at different criteria on this, but I still feel that what is really incredible about this process is that we've got two brilliant people here with such opposite approaches, and I feel that you both could just do with a sprinkle of the other. So that's the way you could go. So I thought it was an outstanding job, Greg. So I gave you a 9. Because in fact, I nearly gave you a 10 because I was like, I'm going to hire him. I really got it.
Yeah, and for Josh, Allison, that's beautiful feedback.
So, oh my gosh, Josh, who wouldn't love dealing with you? You talk about being human. You use the words engaging. You really, I'm going to help you be human online. It's like, here we are in this world of online and this, artificial intelligence. And finally, we've got a human being. And you spoke to me. I absolutely loved your connection. I loved your authenticity, your integrity. I felt that really, really spoke. And I felt that, he kept having to ask what you could do for him. For me, I kind of want results. I kind of want to know. And I would be swept away in the moment of the emotion of talking to you. However, when it came down to it, at this point, I wasn't sure that I would go forward anymore, apart from the fact that I'd love to interact with you. Because I didn't really understand, you kind of used more generic, adding value, and you talked about the avatar, but you didn't, I feel, establish one distinguishing factor about that avatar. And I know that was a short, you didn't have very much time, but I would have liked further exploration into the real, who the avatar is and more detail. So, I struggled with this one because I absolutely loved you, but I gave you a 7 in the end because for me, you didn't really show me what you could do for me as a business.
Fair enough.
All right. Hey, so awesome job, Greg. Josh, just drop in for a second and we'll be wrapping this up. So, Rob, let's just play with something as though I'm Josh for 1 second. So,
Yep.
we're in, right? So Rob, what I'm hearing you say is that family is incredibly important to you. You want to have this incredible legacy based on the background, the humble beginnings that you had, and you're just like this blue collar kind of guy that's truly made a massive impact, and you want to impact other lives that work for you, people in the world. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes, I can work in the streets and the suites.
Yes. I am not confused, brother. I am not confused. So with that said, what I'm also hearing is that you love structured mechanisms to get highly qualified folks that you could work with and connect with. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So
And scale with.
that's, I'm sorry?
And scale, like, in other words, we could bring on folks that we could scale that. Like,
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
me work with. Yep.
Absolutely. So can I share a little bit about myself?
Please.
Yeah. So again, my name is Josh, and what I do is I work with some of the most remarkable people in the world, people like John Maxwell. And what we do for these people who, Dan Sullivan, you know him, the strategic coach?
Yeah, I've heard of Dan Sullivan. Absolutely. Yep.
So these people have entrusted my company with the ability to generate relationships online through LinkedIn in a scalable model that they don't have to touch. And if that really works, would that be something you'd be interested in?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what I'd love to do is have a longer conversation with you to explain all of these dynamics and how it works, because I get it. You want to be with your family and you want to have massive impact. And if we can create a generation model similar to what you have that you mentioned on YouTube that generates an endless flow of qualified people for you, ever expanding the more that we invest and work together. Let's like try first, demonstrate, then scale. Would that be something like, not just that you'd be interested in? Does that almost sound too good to be true and like mind-blowing?
Well, Josh, if I may, and yes, it doesn't sound too good to be true because I've seen it, but I've only seen it as a compliment to somebody. I like to create my own. And it sounds like what you're talking about is I could create my own.
Yeah, you can create and have and control your own.
Yes, and I don't have that right now, and I would love to.
Awesome. All right, Josh, is that who you are?
That's it. Sean, I got to dust off the salesman in me. I haven't sold, I guess, in a while. I'm just educating and inspiring people too much, but I love that, man.
But brother, so listen, let's distinguish. All sales is educating people in truth.
That's
like
right.
that is who you are, right?
That's
So
right.
it's sales. I'm like, hey, Josh, you know what, brother? Yeah, there's some like swampland and I think you should buy it because like 72 years from now, they might build another Disney World on it. Like that's sales, right?
100%.
Yeah. What you're doing, like we're revealing truth here for you. You're extraordinary. So hopefully that lands because I'm so impressed by you. Yeah. Thank you, brother. So, hey, what would you say to people that said, hey, should I David call me or somebody else called me and said, hey, would you be a participant on The Real Raw? What would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them that David did call me and asked me to be, and I said, hell yes. And I would say it again. So
Yeah.
this has been really awesome. And I mean, I appreciate everyone on here. The feedback's been amazing.
And I thank you. I know it went a little long. I really appreciate it. And we're going to get that tightened up on time as much as we can. We want to give everybody a chance to share, connect, and have some great things happen here. And Greg, how about yourself? Thank you so much for being here. And as we close, any things you want to share and how was the experience?
Yeah, this was a lot of valuable feedback, a great experience getting to do a role play like this, getting high level feedback. It's been great. I'm glad to have participated.
Yeah.
Sean, can I share something for Greg, if that's okay?
In 7 seconds, got to wrap up.
Yep. Greg, I really felt like you have something blockbuster for me. And I just think that, and it was short time, but I think that rapport build would be just take you to a whole nother level. Because I really believe you have something that I want.
Awesome.
Greg, Josh, Rob, Gill, Vivian, Fernando, Thank you so much, Allison, Brett, and Vance, for another day at the Real Raw. It is Memorial Day weekend in New Jersey. This is when the summer kicks off. Have a blessed, beautiful, and incredible weekend. And thank you to all the veterans out there that are with us today and are gone for everything you did to protect our freedom. Have a beautiful day.